kinds of addictions. So this kind of stuff may interfere with the flow, an easy flow in our sexual chakra.
So how do we open that up?
Well, we focus with our breath. I always start with the breath, and then bringing the attention down to the sexual chakra, and visualize this energy center, and visualize it spinning. Because if you see it as a wheel, and you're just visualizing that it spins around and around and around, so this is in your mind's eye, but you're bringing your attention down to that area in your body, and you're just allowing this energy center to open. Also, Kundalini Yoga is great because Kundalini Yoga opens each one of your chakras. That's one of the purposes of one of the benefits of doing Kundalini Yoga. So different postures that you're in will help open up different parts of the body. Now, I'm a Shivananda Yoga teacher, and so that's one of the things that we, the different asanas affect a certain, the body posture affects a certain part of the energy center to help flow.
So how do you spell that?
Which one?
You said you are a
Shivananda Yoga teacher.
Yes.
And so that's Sivananda Yoga, and but the Kundalini Yoga, that's one where really that's part of what it's doing when you're doing it. So
Sivananda, beautiful. Yeah. I will look into that. That sounds lovely.
And in the also working out whatever these issues may be affecting your sexual chakra. Working through sexual shame, for example. And that's one of the things that we worked on in the workshop. The Tantra workshop was really addressing these messages that we get when we're growing up and how it affects our sexuality. And, oftentimes people learn this sexual shame early on in childhood. And sometimes it's not even theirs. It's an adult. It's, comes from somewhere else. But a child adopts it as their own, and you move into adult life, and you have a lot of this hidden sexual shame. I have to tell you, Dr. Sally Valentine, and by the way, not only can you attend workshops with Dr. Valentine, but she is located, you are close to Miami, Southern Florida. Where exactly? It's Boca Raton, Florida.
Boca Raton.
Yeah, it's about an hour to an hour and a half north of downtown Miami.
Right. Yeah, Boca Raton. And so you keep regular therapy hours?
Yes.
And how can people get in touch with you?
Okay, they can call. My phone number is 561-391-3305, or go to my website, and that's drsallyvalentine.com, www.drsallyvalentine, all one word, DRSALLY, Valentine.com, and check my website out, and you can contact me through there, my email.
Beautiful, beautiful. And your number in Boca Raton, where you practice, 561-391-3305. Okay, very good. So I just wanted to say to you, I loved that exercise as well. When you asked us to look at the sexual messages we got as younger people, and then more currently. And I was paired with a lovely woman from Eastern Europe who was 20 years younger than me, and we had been given the same kind of shaming messages as females. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing how that happens.
Isn't it amazing? At different generations, different parts in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not always just cultural.
Right.
Sometimes it's across the board.
Sometimes it's more anthropological. I mean, the fact that it's females who end the sex act 9 months later, men ended upon ejaculation, and who's going to take care of that infant? And then we have to have people who are responsible for that infant, and we need parents or a family. And how do we know who the father is? And before DNA testing, before paternity tests, well, the woman had to be very chaste, and she had to be monogamous with that one man. And how would you know that? Well, give her a clitorectomy. Make sure she has no sexual pleasure so she won't wander. It's just amazing how especially female sexuality has been so toyed with in our world in general.
Yes, so right. You're right.
Yes.
So, this is an aside, but do you know the clitoris is the only organ in the body that is its only purpose is for pleasure?
I did know that, but I think most people don't know that, and there's so much more we could talk about around. And remember when Freud said the only mature orgasm for a woman is vaginal, and clitoral meant she was immature, when really the clitoris is the executive of the orgasm. Yeah, I know. It is amazing, and we have that. We have frontal sex most often, so we can have that pair bond, and we can stay together for the length of the time to raise the offspring, the pleasure bond, and it doesn't. And female pleasure is not required for procreation. So that's why so many societies can mess around with female sexuality. But yeah, it is pure pleasure for frontal sex, for the pair bond. I don't mean to just go on and on about this. I know you would have so much more to say about it. You'll have to come on another time for us to talk about that in detail, because I think we really need to get that word out, And I'm very conscious of the time. We have just a few more minutes, and we just finished with 2 of the 7 chakras. So
I knew this was going to. This is not even an hour long talk. You know that. I know.
And Sally, it's wonderful. Thank you for going over this.
Yeah. I think we should just put a pause on that, so that we can make sure that we because it would. I'm not doing it justice, but I think it gives people an idea if you've never even heard of the chakra system, or even thought about your body having particular energy centers and how they may, actually hold openness or closed, or certain qualities that are affected in certain parts in the body. It's just interesting, and I think, sometimes when people learn about it, they now begin to pay attention to it, and then it makes sense,
Yes, absolutely. So I think people can look it up on their own, the chakras, and I have only a rudimentary knowledge, so I could just sketch out 3. The 3rd chakra is the solar plexus. Right, and that's just below the heart.
Right, and that's your power chakra. That is where, you feel, that you are in your power. You have your power. A lot of people who feel powerless about life or about their relationships, that's where they will feel affected by that. People who sort of give their power away all the time. They let other people in their lives tell them what to do, and sort of they give their power away. We see that a lot in therapy and even with couples, and it's very interesting in couples work. A lot of times both people in the couple feel like, they don't have the power. They are giving their power away to their partner, and, so both people feel, even the one that from the outside looks like the controlling person, they may very well feel that that they don't have power. So
right.
it is really very interesting. So that's a power chakra. The next chakra is the heart chakra, and then the fifth chakra is the throat chakra, and that's located in the throat and area, the neck area. And then the sixth chakra is your third eye, and that's located between your brows. And the seventh chakra is your crown chakra, and that's located at the crown of your head. So we just scooped through.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's the crown of the head.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's your spiritual connection. That's where, when it's open and flowing, your source of divine source, if that's part of your belief system, that's your, connection with divine source, with grace, with even prayerfulness, with, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking of the 12 steps, like AA, sought through prayer and meditation. So you had mentioned meditation before, and now you're mentioning prayer, and that we can actually do both. So
yeah, so I think it's part of Tantra is a sacred sexuality practice. So there is a lot of a spiritual connection in that. And, so of course, and there can be a lot of spirit in the erotic, a lot of people really live off the juice of erotic energy and this fire, and, so there's an aspect of that, and, yeah.
And I think that there are, and we have just a couple of minutes, so just to make mention, and I do hope you'll come back to us on Just Relationships, just the idea of, now I just lost it. Great. Oh, yeah, that so many couples are virtually sexless these days. We are sleep deprived and sex deprived. It's amazing what a money culture will do to people, and it's so even using the expression erotic energy and fire is so appealing, and it's just eros, life, as opposed to thanatos, death, in and of itself. Well, Dr. Sally Valentine, thank you so much for doing 2 shows with us. And again, for people to know, to contact Sally Valentine, many people come from all over the world to your tantric sexuality workshops. And for your therapy practice in Boca Raton, one can look at Dr. Sally Valentine .com. That's .com. DrSallyValentine.com, and your number is 561-391-3305.
Right.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
One last thing. If people are listening in your area and looking for a certified sex therapist, they want to make sure they contact ASECT certified sex therapist, which is AASECT sex therapist.
And that's really, really bona fide and legitimate. And
highly trained. That's the American Association for Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists. And if you have a certified sex therapist through ASECT, then you have someone that is skilled, experienced.
Thank you for that. I think that's very, very important. Yeah. This is Dr. Duffy Spencer saying goodbye for now and wishing you great relationships.